Hey guys, welcome. I've got Laurie in the house. What is your handle name?
The Canine Diva.
Diva. I love that. Canine Diva. You know what's funny? On my phone, I've named myself, it's Sugar Mama.
Hey,
I don't know why, but it was like, so when I say, hey Siri, what's my name? It says Sugar Mama.
that's funny.
Anyways, guys, if you can see and hear us, drop us a hello and we will get started. This is a discussion with Laurie. She is got a really good reputation in our positive reinforcement dog training community in the entire industry, as well as she puts herself out there on TikTok and Instagram. And I'm just loving, I just crack up when I see some of your stuff. All right, Karina, thank you. All right. So, Laurie, to start off this conversation, tell us 35 years in the industry. I know. Tell us a little bit about how you got started, what gave you that launch and idea to be a dog trainer?
All right. Well, nothing really that really cool or anything. I walked into a dog training class, our local kennel club where I was living. I lived in Jacksonville, North Carolina, on the Marine Corps base with my husband, who was then a Marine. And
Nice.
we got an Irish setter puppy, and I took my Irish setter puppy to class. And I'm not really sure. I've always been interested in dogs, but that was the very first dog training class I'd ever been to.
Experience.
I'm not sure what made me all of a sudden, because I'd had dogs before. I'm not sure what made me all of a sudden decide I'm going to train this dog. I'm going to go to classes. I really can't remember. It may have been something as simple as me seeing an ad in the
Okay.
paper, or maybe it might have been in one of the military, notices
Oh,
for the families. I really don't even know why I walked in there. I'm pretty sure it was like $25 for the class, like an 8-week class.
for the
And
whole 8 weeks?
oh yeah, like I said, this was back in like 1983,
Okay,
maybe
that and
83,
back
84.
then, I mean, dog training in a class was very like you never really saw it mainstream. So it's bizarre that you got a chance to actually.
Well, there was a whole subculture, and like I said, I wasn't in that subculture, but there was the whole subculture, which still exists today,
Yeah,
of kennel clubs.
yeah.
Kennel clubs, that's who held dog training classes. Nobody else did. There was no such thing as a dog training profession back then. Not that I know of. Like there were no like dog trainers, like to find a dog trainer and have them help you train your dog. Maybe there were, but it was not mainstream. And like I think there were like field dog trainers and stuff like that. They always
Yeah.
did that stuff. But as far as to the general public, and nobody talked anything about behavior modification and behavior issues. Please, that
Just
was
put him
not
in
a
the
thing.
backyard.
Yeah, no, there was no such thing as separation anxiety and reactive behavior. Dogs were tied up a lot in their backyards,
Yeah.
reactive. That's the way dogs were. But anyway, so I don't know how and why I did it, but I walked in there and then I loved it right away. I had always trained dogs myself. When I was a teenager, I did like 4-H shows with my
Oh,
beagle mix. Like 4-H trick pet shows. I'd get my box of Milk-Bone biscuits. That's how long Milk-Bone's been around. I get my box of Milk-Bone biscuits. Or there's another treat that is near and dear to my heart, even though we're not supposed to use it anymore.
oh
There are these
no.
little treats that I don't even remember what they're
Did it have the
called.
bacon in them with the little thing wrapped around it? The
Well,
bis.
it's yellow, and then it's yellow. It's a yellow little piece like that. It almost looks like a hot dog, sort of. And then yes,
Yeah.
there's like beef
Yeah. Yeah.
inside of it.
Yeah.
I don't. And then like I always, I think there's a box of a small dog I mean, a picture of a small dog on the box. Anyway, those were like expensive treats to
Yeah.
like a 12, 13-year-old girl back then.
Yeah.
That was the big thing to get those. So that's how I train my dogs. I did positive reinforcement back then because that's all I knew how to do. I knew my dog Mamie would do pretty much anything I taught her how to shake hands, roll over, the typical sit up, all that stuff with milk bone biscuits. That's what I
Wow.
use. I did not use anything else. I did not use force because I didn't even know how to use that. Like what?
Yeah.
Like why would a little girl know how to do that?
Yeah.
So that's what I did with him. But then for some reason, when I was older, married, got this puppy, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to class. So walked in the class, loved it right away, and then I stayed after and I watched Kennel Club members. They were practicing for an upcoming obedience trial. And
Wow.
I was like,
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
I have to teach my dog how to do that stuff. Because they were doing the dogs were like retrieving dumbbells over jumps. Well, they just changed it maybe about 4 years ago. AKC obedience finally changed some, but really up until that time, it was the same. It's been the same for 50 years. But anyway, I was like so mesmerized by it. And I was like, I need to teach my dog this. So I just kept hanging around. And the really cool thing is the old ladies, which is funny because they were probably like what my age now, but I look, it's like totally different. But
I do too.
but the old ladies of the club, as I will refer to them, all chain smoking, real rough women, they liked me. They liked the way I was with my dog. Like they were
You were in the club.
they were like, well, first of all, they were like, this dog has potential, and they were like, you have potential. So they took me under their wings and they let me hang around, and they would go after the Kennel Club meetings. They'd go out to this all night diner. And here I had a 2-year-old baby at home. I needed to have been taking my behind right home to my husband and baby, but no, I stayed with these women sometimes till 2-3 hours after class, just listening to them talk. And
wow.
anyway, that's how I got into it. Now, of course, the training was 100% different then. Like
Yeah.
I said, that's when I learned to use corrections then, because I didn't know how to use it to
Yeah.
then. That's
That's
how
what they were
everybody
using.
trained. I
Yeah.
don't really feel, I don't have any I feel bad about it that I wish I could have had the relationship with my dogs back then that I have now. But then, like I said, that everybody, that's what dog training was
Yeah.
back then. Even if you go back and look at what was her name? Barbara Woodhouse. She did leash pops. That's what you did. That's
Yeah.
what it was. So I did that. Never felt that great about it. And I wouldn't call myself compulsion to the extent of what I see, even today. I'm like, are you kidding me? Even back then, I wasn't doing that because I knew that I did not want to do that. But I was using food still because the milk bones had worked for me. So I knew that worked also. So that's the way training was back then. I am glad to say I've been exclusively positive reinforcement for the last, I want to say since probably 1998.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what was your big change? Where was that shift? Who was
You
your
know, a woman came up to me. I have my, then one of my Dalmatians, my original Dalmatian.
You work with a lot of Dalmatians.
Yeah, I have. I've had
I
them for
don't
the
get
last.
very many Dalmatians down here. I know you're a
No,
little.
you don't anywhere. They're not,
Yeah.
they're not a super popular breed anymore. Thank goodness.
Until
I was
Disney
in,
does a rerun of that, 101
yeah, well, they
Dalmatians.
have a bad reputation with people.
Yeah.
So even if they do rerun it, I don't think people will they're over it. They love them to look at,
Yeah.
and kids love them, but nobody wants one. And I'm okay with that. I was in PetSmart with him, and we were training probably for an upcoming trial or something. I was doing some stays, and it's always very impressive if you have your dog sitting in the aisle and
Yeah.
people are walking by, and he's just sitting there very stoically and not. Anyway, so a lady, he did have his choke chain on, and a lady walked up to me and she said, have you heard of clicker training? She was very nice about it. She wasn't judgmental or anything. I hadn't heard of clicker training. I'd never heard of it. Have you heard of clicker training? And I said, no, I haven't. And she told me, she talked to me about it. And she said, you should look up this book. And she told me there was a gentleman named Morgan Spector, which is also very interesting because the things he had in that book, that's nothing like what positive reinforcement training we do now. Things
It's like
continually keep
things
changing.
change. Yeah.
But anyway, it was clicker. It was clicker training for obedience. And I said, you know what, I'll give this a try. I loved it right away. And let me back up a little bit. I was still using food, like I told you, and trying to use positive reinforcement as much as I could. I was told I couldn't.
Wow.
In several, like this, I had moved to Virginia by this time. I went to a training class, and they're still in existence, and so they will remain nameless. I don't know what they do now, but they were what convinced me to open up my own place. But anyway,
Oh.
I went there and I was training, and I would use food. They told me I couldn't. They said, we don't want food in here. They said, because
Aw.
it'll mess up the other dogs and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to open up my own facility so I can use what I want. I don't want people telling me I can't use food. So anyway, that's what really
That's
got me
what
rolling. And
sparked.
yeah, and shortly after
Wow.
that, I opened up my own place, and there you go. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, we just celebrated our 17th anniversary in my facility. So
Well,
thank
congratulations. And
you.
thank you for sharing that, because I
Sure.
know that a lot of trainers have come, have come from back then, and a lot of them feel bad about the way things, ended up, how the way train, and it's hard to disconnect and
Right.
say, okay, but now things are a lot different, and the
Right.
education wasn't there. And
No,
good for
it
you for
wasn't.
standing for what you believe in
Yeah.
and pursuing education and pursuing what you think is right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it worked.
Yeah.
I knew positive reinforcement worked because I did it as a kid. I had to learn to use corrections. They had to teach me that. That's what I learned in that, kennel club class. They showed me how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. All I knew was positive reinforcement up to that time. So the interesting thing is how I went full circle.
Yeah.
I did what they said I was supposed to do, which, like I said, I never really felt that great about it, but that's what they said I had to do. I did what they said, but then it's like thank goodness that I feel like I would have found clicker training and
On your
operant
own. Yeah.
conditioning and stuff on my own because I'm a fairly intelligent person. So I feel like I would have found because like I said, it was new back then. It was
Yeah. It
just
wasn't as
coming.
mainstream. I know
Not
it
at
was like
all.
working
Not
its way.
not at
Yeah.
all. It was not mainstream at all. And so I feel like I would have found it eventually anyway. But I am very thankful for that unknown woman who walked up to me
That's
in
awesome.
PetSmart and said that because that like I was like, let me look this up. And then I loved it right away. I was like, what? You click this thing, give them like, man, like yes,
Very
like
distinct sound, and the
fantastic.
dog knows what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does your experience of how you got into dog training early on, is that experience come to play now that you're on social media? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why going on social media. There's the reasons of being visible. There's the reasons of getting new clients. But do you feel like that past has brought you onto social media, with bringing
Hmm.
awareness to dog training?
Well, here's what I think it has done. And if I was going to say what, I don't know if I don't know if it's the whole thing of why I do get some notice on social media, but I think part of it is because I am empathetic to all trainers, not the ones who are abusive. Let me make that clear. But I am not one of the positive reinforcement trainers who want to fight with everybody every 5 seconds and
Thank
like
God.
want to call everybody abusers.
Yeah.
That's just not me because you know what? A lot of the balance trainers was me. That was me 25 years ago.
So you like
So
kind of meeting them where they're at, and
when people want to say that they're abusive and they hate their dogs, no, they don't, because I loved my dog. I loved my dogs as much back then as I do now.
yeah.
So I have a different perspective than a lot of the younger trainers who have been positive reinforcement their whole careers, and I feel like there is a block for a lot of them that they can't reach because I'm followed by a lot of balance trainers follow me too.
And how do you feel about that?
I'm fine. I'm fine with
Yeah,
it
right?
because you know what? they're not going to ever change if they don't hear and see it. Like,
Correct.
when a balance trainer comes on, and I hate the terms, by
I
the
know.
way.
I don't use the terms
I was
for
not at the meeting that distributed those terms, but anyway, whoops. But oh yeah, a lot of them follow me, and I'm like, you can't teach someone unless they're there to listen. So
yeah.
I try not to scare them away. Now, don't get me wrong. If I need to take it to somebody, I will. But oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
But
So, how do you feel about someone calling you out? Because that's the problem with being such an influencer, being out there and putting your take on things, your knowledge, and how you feel about training out there is that judgment. You're out there on a pedestal. People will judge. What do you do with those comments? Do you take them in? Do you address them? Do you try to battle? What's your take on it?
well, it depends. It depends. If it's a respectful, I mean, usually judgment isn't respectful, but if it's a question and it's respectful, if someone is questioning something, or as long as they're not rude. If they're rude, I don't play that
Just
game.
ignore
They're
them.
getting deleted and blocked.
Okay.
I don't even entertain that. It's a waste of time. It makes you end up looking silly, in my opinion. It makes you go down to their level. So yeah, I'm not going to waste time with that kind of stuff. But if
Love
it's
it.
someone who genuinely is going to have a respectful discourse with me, I will do that. I mean, and I will explain to them why. Now, because I train the way I train, I don't mind putting myself out there because I'm a, I'm very, very confident
Yeah.
with what I do.
Your
So
beliefs and yeah, what you do.
yeah,
You
I
know it
have
works.
never had anybody like if I put a video where I'm actually training, I've never had anybody criticize me for that. Not to toot my own horn by any means, because I'm not the best technical trainer as I am right now, in my age that I am right
It's
now.
hard,
I'm
huh?
not as quick.
Yeah.
I'm not as, I'm older now.
I
You had got
I
me maybe 20 years ago, different story. But what I'm saying is, even still, I don't have people criticizing the way I do things. What they will criticize is the method. And
right. That's
usually
what
the
I'm saying.
criticism really just all falls. The only criticism, well, you can't do that with every dog.
Right.
I train the dog, and so some dogs need blank, 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 which we all know is BS. But I'm just saying that's the only like comments that we get. Well, you can't do that with every dog.
So, Laurie, when someone comments on something like that, there's a lot of trainers that are afraid to go out on social media for the reason of having that comment come through and
Mhm.
not being able to sleep at night, and thinking that they did something. How do you go about just going on with your day? What is the tool that you're using? Do you like put up like a Wonder Woman little thing and it just reflects off of it, or
It's just me. I mean, I don't care. Like,
okay,
I mean, I feel like it's just a certain thing that happens to you with age.
that's true.
It really is. Like, I
Yeah,
don't care about any of these people.
that is
I
so
mean,
true.
that's my thing. I'm like, I don't even care. I don't know who this person
I
is, this nameless, faceless person.
person.
I mean, so yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a problem for me
I
at
think you're onto
all.
something. I turn 50 next month, and I swear I am getting like the repellent kind of like
Oh, yeah, I don't even care. I
shields
mean,
on me. Like there's been things been said, and I'm like, boop, boop,
so
boop. So
I have not, unfortunately, been blessed with good health in my adult life. I don't know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but it's not any secret. The people who know me well know I've had 2 kidney transplants. I've
wow.
lived with lupus my entire adult life. Like, who cares what some nameless faceless person says to me on the internet? Like, you have to look at what's important in your life
That's
and
so
what
true.
matters. So I have a great perspective with that. Like, and maybe that is why I do as well as I do, because I really don't care about
Yeah.
what these people say. Now, having said that, there are some things that do get me a little hot behind the collar when I see just misinformation. What I hate is misinformation.
Okay.
Like, if I see any trainer, be it balanced or force free or whatever they have their label at.
Whatever
If
the
I
label is. Yeah.
yeah, if I see somebody putting something out there that I know is misinformation, that is usually the only time I'm going to step in. Otherwise, I'm not the trainer who it's very rare, although I will do it sometimes. It's very rare that I'm going to go onto another trainer's page, copy what they did or stitch it or whatever. It depends on what platform you're on, and then put it on my page and then criticize it. Like, no, I usually am
I
not
have
going to
been
do
seeing,
that.
see, I am not a TikTok fan.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
actually,
TikTok's awful.
I
It's
I'm
toxic
like,
and
so that's
awful.
Laurie, that is what I want to ask you about. Like there's all this media, right? And I see that a lot on TikTok.
Oh,
Someone
it's
will
awful.
take what not to do, which is kind of funny, and then they turn around and they
Oh, they
criticize,
just
and
slam
that's,
it and
yeah,
critique
and
it.
that's not
Yeah, and I
fun.
also don't make a habit of going on a trainer's page, like even, and then just say like, "You're dumb," and why would you say something stupid like that? Blah blah blah. Now I'm like I said, if it's misinformation and it's something that is important to me, I will go on and try to clear up a misconception. I try to do it
How
in
do
a
you go about
respectful.
doing that in a more polite way?
I won't necessarily say polite as much as I will say in a respectful and a direct way. I
Okay.
mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat probably
But you're
like
going to
so.
stand your ground because you're confident in your beliefs, and you're
I,
going to go and
and I'm going to give them the correct information and
so
because I
what's the
want
purpose of that then, Lori? So
the
what
purpose
do you
of.
feel, what's the purpose of taking someone that's sending out this, that's got 43,000 views on a video that in every ounce of your blood that like this is not the right way to do things.
All right, so
What do you,
let me give you
yeah,
an example. Let me
go
give you an
for it.
example. So, it's funny. Oddly enough, one of the things I speak out the most about is the way small dogs, Chihuahuas in particular, but all small dogs are depicted and treated on social media. I loathe those videos that show people taunting their small dogs and then see how terrible small dogs are. So anyway, so those are the ones that really get under my skin.
Oh
And so
no.
those are the ones that I do sometimes take their video and post it, and then I'll show my Chihuahua who's I don't know if you can see him. Can you see him?
Yes.
I'll take my
The baby.
Chihuahua and me doing something like with him and like to balance that out and just to let people know what it's not that Chihuahuas are bad. It's not that small dogs are this and that and the other. It's just that you have to put the same amount of wanting to socialize and train them as you would if it was a larger dog, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so I very often will go to, because I want to clear up that misconception. It is, Chihuahuas are not genetically aggressive,
Yeah.
so I will, a lot of times I'll go on and tell people stuff like that. As far as
And
training, go
Lori,
ahead.
who do you hope listens to that? Is it the pet parents because they're the ones that are, going through
That's what
TikTok?
I hope, but sometimes I'm gonna
Okay.
be honest, I feel like it's a losing battle because half the time it's the owners of small dogs who seem to be proud of that. Oh yeah, my Chihuahua's awful.
Okay.
He, like it's funny. But so it's hard. I hope that it does get to the actual owner, sure.
Okay.
Um, but then I also hope that the other people can at least look at what I'm saying. And but it's hard. That's a hard battle. That's, to me, is a harder battle than the training one. It really and truly is, because you have vets saying it. Like, oh, and that
Oh,
really
I
gets
know.
me
Yeah.
crazy. If a vet posted that, oh, the Chihuahuas are the most worst dog that comes in. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. Here you are,
Mm,
a pet professional, perpetuating. So that kind of stuff really bothers me. That bothers me more than the training stuff does.
okay. So
It really
using
does.
social media, it's for you, it's not about you, your business, it's about just
Oh
bringing
no.
awareness
Yeah.
and all of that. Now, how do you create the idea of what you're going to post each time? Because you're pretty good at this, by the way. I don't know.
I try to pick up on the trends.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. I really don't mind putting myself out there. I'll dance, I'll say something funny or whatever. I don't care. But so I do try to take my message and put it with a trend because I feel like they'll listen more. Like
Okay.
they'll listen if it's something that's to a nice song or whatever. So I definitely do try to keep it up. That I do have a lot where I'm just talking, and thankfully people actually do listen to those as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so as far as my ideas, just something that like when I'm just scrolling through and something that I might see, and I'm like, you know what? Or something that happens in class, or something that one of my clients,
Might
brought
ask.
up, or
Yeah.
yeah. So I get my ideas pretty much from all over the place, but I do try to capitalize on the trends that are out there. I mean, that's what everybody that is an influencer, quote unquote, on social media does. And that's what, when you look at people who are saying how to get more followers and do
Yeah.
this and that, they always are saying you got to, you want
Follow the
to
trend.
keep up with the
So
trends.
you're putting yourself out there. This is a
Mhm,
really good message, by the way, Laurie.
mhm.
You're putting yourself out there because you strongly believe in bringing awareness to the industry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I want, and then I will be very blunt about it. I want to give a different face to positive reinforcement training, because this is not the face that people associate with that.
What do you think the face is typically?
Your face. Your face.
Okay.
And maybe even younger. My gosh, everybody's so young. And like I said, it's young white females for the most part that are driving the force-free community. That's what people see. It's young white female after young white female. And this is not a criticism. I'm just saying
Just
that's
a
who's pushing it.
yeah.
Absolutely. And go young white female, keep doing it. So I don't like that. Yes, keep doing it. But I also want them to see this.
I love that, Laurie. I
They
love
need to
that.
see this, because
They need to
if
see
it's
diversity for sure.
well, if it's only young white female, then that might not reach people that look like me. Um, people, other, BIPOC or persons of color. It may not reach them. It may not. Whereas maybe I can. Maybe I can. So that's one of my biggest reasons. I
Reasons you
said,
put yourself.
we really need to diversify. And that way, when there's someone else that looks like you that's sitting at the table, you feel more. It's happened to me in other things, not in dog training, not in dog world, but I was always the only one. But there's more now. And I want to, I've had people tell me that the reason they're in it is because they saw me.
Oh,
They
that
hadn't
makes
seen me. So yeah, so that's a big thing for me. I need for people to know that it is not just one type of person.
yeah.
And I certainly do want to grow positive reinforcement in the BIPOC community for
Yeah.
sure.
I
So,
Awesome. So how are you going about doing that besides putting yourself out there? Is there any other
that's about
plan?
it. I mean,
Okay.
to be honest, I'm not
Just put your
really, yeah, I'm just putting myself out there.
nice.
I feel like that's the biggest thing that I
That's
can
the way
do.
you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a few tech questions because
Mhm.
tech is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of dog trainers don't do any of this.
Mhm.
So how easy or hard was it to learn how to create a video, how to edit it, and how to upload it to TikTok or Instagram?
There
Tell me
is
a
a
little bit about
learning
that
Yeah,
experience.
there's a learning curve with that. I mean, at the beginning, I was like, "What? How are they doing this? I
Yeah.
do not understand it." So over time, now TikTok is probably the easiest to make videos on it. That unfortunately, because it has all kinds of filters. It's easy to get the music to your videos. Very easy to like copy the trends and stuff. TikTok is the easiest one. Instagram, I find, is a little bit harder. What I do a lot of times is I will make my videos, I'll put them on TikTok and get them all edited there, and then I
I've
will,
heard that.
yeah, then I'll screenshot it and then I'll put it on Instagram. So,
export it and then put it into Instagram. Okay.
but
So
it's
you're
not like you have to be a computer programming at all.
no. So
But
would you
it's
say that
not.
it took you a few sessions, like a few hours
Oh,
to learn
yeah,
it?
it's a learning curve. Like you have to keep learning. I've gotten better and better over time.
Yeah, you're faster,
But
more efficient.
absolutely, yeah, no, I had no clue. I was like, how do people do this?
Yeah.
And that, but the good thing too is on TikTok in particular, there's a lot of creators that tell you how to do things. This is how you
Yeah.
make this type of video. This is how you make the quick changes. This is how you do this. This is how you make the transitions. All that information is
It's
there.
free and
And I
it's
know these
available.
young folk
Yeah.
should be able to pick it up easy. Like for like me, I was like, wait a minute, what? Pressing the buttons all like one at a time. Like
Pause. Yeah.
they will probably be easy for them, I would think.
So when you go and you look and you put out a video out there, do you go back and like do the analytics? Do you see how many
I
views?
very rarely do.
Okay.
I
So you just
very
put it
rarely
out
do.
there.
So,
Just put it
like
out
I'm
there
not
and
concerned really about all that. Like some videos hit, some don't. Whatever. Next.
what was your biggest surprise that like numbers just went like crazy compared to others? It's always the ones you never plan on going big that end up going
Yeah,
big.
there was this one video I made. Like I said, I think it was the song. It was like wasn't even more than 10 seconds where I was walking a Great Dane. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
she's a beautiful dog. But I think it was just the right time, the music. Here's another thing that you have to, when it is a trend, you have to get in at the beginning of the trend.
Mm.
Like, let me think, like give an example. There's a trend right now, and if anybody is on TikTok a lot, they'll probably recognize this. There's a trend where I haven't done this trend, but there's a trend where like you could take a video and you can put it like in the back of a police car.
Really?
Like, yeah, like you're in the back of the police car, like you've been arrested. And then you
Okay.
put a caption, like whatever. Anyway, just pointing this out to say it's probably been a pretty hot trend for about the last week and
So
a half.
what are you going to use that information
I'm
for?
not going to do
Oh,
it. But what I was going to say is what my point is to do it now, you're not going to get as many
okay.
hits on it as if you had done it a week and a half ago.
Okay.
Like the longer a trend is out, the less people are, clicking on it all the time. So,
But you're
and
like, that's talking to someone that has been doing it and is following the trend. If you could give someone who has not even gone live 2 tips, what would you say to them? A
yikes.
dog trainer that just, really strongly feels about influencing or making aware of the community around them, that dog training in a positive way exists. What would your
All right,
2
the
top
people that
tips?
in the force-free community,
Yeah.
positive reinforcement community, the people that I have seen grow quicker are the ones that aren't mean. I hate to put it that way.
You said mean?
That aren't mean, that are nice,
Nice.
that are giving information, that are just like I said, giving information, that aren't judgmental of others, and but a lot of really good information. Like my best advice to the positive reinforcement, science-based, force-free,
Whatever you want to
whatever you
call
want
it.
to
Yeah.
call it, is to show your knowledge. Like explain things, not in a scientific way, because most of the people that you're going to be talking to do not have that background.
Right.
Um,
Keep it simple.
yeah, keep it simple, but explain this is why this works.
Nice.
Those are the ones that I see that are growing. You do have to have a certain amount of it's like me, I try to be funny. Try to
You
be
dance a little
entertaining.
bit. You
Yeah, I
do
try to
some
be
fun. Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm an entertainer at heart, so I try to be entertaining because you do have to bring people in. You have to draw them in. You can't
That's a
just
good point.
yeah, you do.
Sometimes you got to put yourself out there in order to get people to actually stay on your on your video.
Listen, one thing I did not tell you, I want to make sure you guys, everybody knows this. Okay. Even though I've been training dogs a long time, it wasn't my primary career until 17 years ago when I
What
opened up
did
my
you do before
facility.
that?
Lots of things, but but most recently, I worked in law enforcement for a stint. But just prior to starting my dog training, actual full time opening my facility, I was in the fitness realm. I was a manager in a gym. I was a personal trainer. I taught spinning classes, aerobic classes, yoga classes. I'm used to putting it myself out there. In the early 90s, I was teaching step aerobics in a thong leotard.
That was
So
me.
and
I was
leg
one of the
warmers.
first Reebok step
Yes,
instructors.
that was me too.
Step
So
and
I mean,
slide.
putting myself out there is not a problem. And then like when when the aerobics was really popular, that was me. And I had the little headset and I was walking
The
around and getting
matching
people,
headband with the belt and the leg
oh,
warmers
the
and the
whole
little
nine.
Reebok pumps that you like
The whole
pump before
nine.
class. Yeah.
The whole nine. So what I'm saying, put
Okay.
myself out. If I can get up there on a thong, I mean leotard, I can pretty
Do
much
it
do
all.
anything. But yeah, so
Wow.
this isn't really putting myself out there to the extent that was, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So, this is not that hard. And it's not like you're looking at the people. You are putting yourself out there, but there's not people like right there judging you and looking at you like, really? Like, why would you do that? Like you don't even see them. So, I'm like no problem for it. So you do have to let go of those inhibitions and let
Nice.
your personality shine through. And like I said, the ones that I've seen grow, they're the ones that are not every other day going on another trainer's page, pulling up a video and saying about how horrible this person is and how horrible that training is. Those aren't the ones that grow. That's
Okay.
what I've seen. I've seen the ones that grow are the ones that are giving good, clear information, are fairly nice. Now, I don't mean like when I say this is not me insinuating that positive reinforcement trainers are not nice. I'm just saying if you are going to be on there, if you're going to spend
Bashing.
all of your
Yeah.
time putting video after video saying how horrible the other way is, how about show what our way does?
Yeah.
Show it. Show happy people, happy dogs excelling with what we do. I really don't want to waste space and time in making videos with showing what not to do.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I
I'd
agree.
rather show this works. Let me show you this. Isn't this great? This is what I do. So I see a lot just going that other way, and I don't know.
You're
That's
hoping the trend
Yeah,
changes
I
and
mean,
shifts.
and there are a few. A couple of influencers who have far more followers than me. They've been on social media longer than me. I've only been on for about a year and a half. So it took me a while. Like I said, I started out slow because I didn't know what the heck to do. I didn't know how to make the videos, but that they do that. They do post a lot of like taking it to other trainers. But the majority who do that, they kind of stay stagnant.
Okay. They don't
They
keep
don't
growing.
really grow. They don't really grow significantly. Because they're
So
speaking to a smaller audience. They're only talking to a small audience, so they're not going to really grow.
yeah, there's a small audience that'll stay there and like the drama, and then
Yeah.
the rest will kind of. So let's go through a few. Let's finish up. If anyone has any
Yeah.
questions, you could pop
Yeah.
a question. But let's just go through some tips. Someone that has never done this before, whether it's Instagram, TikTok. I'm an Instagram person. I prefer watching Instagram than TikTok, just because my clientele is usually older, so they're in the 40 to 70 range. And I know a lot of people my age don't use TikTok, but that's
Yeah.
just me. So let's just go through, how can we give these trainers that have never done this before some strategic steps? For me, step one would be just going out there and having fun, and just do it for the practice of having a good time.
Yeah. Have fun. Like I said, have fun, be nice, show what you do. You do have to post a lot.
Yeah.
Not
How
as
many
much
posts?
as they say. Like, so
How many posts do you say
you
is
have to do at least once a day. You
Yeah,
have to
that's
keep
a
your
lot.
presence out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Consistency too, guys. If you are posting every day and the numbers don't move, don't worry about how many followers you're getting. You can look at views, you can look at all of that. Eventually it will take off, but be consistent.
yeah, be consistent. And like what's cool about Instagram, if we're going to compare Instagram, you can just put pictures.
Yeah.
If you just post a real cute picture of a dog or a picture of a dog doing something amazing, or they people like action. They do.
They like
Unfortunately,
video.
yeah,
Yeah.
they like video. So if you can post, it doesn't have to be a long drawn out educational video or anything like that. But yeah, it has to be consistent. Like if you go a whole week and you haven't posted anything. So, but not only that, engagement. That's important. When people do post something on what you posted, you need to engage with them.
Going back and
Or
forth.
have the conversation
Yeah.
with them. Even if they say, "Oh, I love that," then you can say
Thank
thank
you.
you, or
Yeah.
like say you like them saying that. Because what it is, the I don't know about the algorithms so much on Instagram. I never.
It keeps changing. I'm doing a
Yeah,
class tomorrow and I'm like, it
yeah.
changed again. I was
The
just like, jeez.
algorithms on TikTok is, and somebody I saw, and I don't know how true this is because there's no official thing. I just listened to what other people are saying. Who there's a lot of people out there, like I said, who are coaching others on how to get more
Yeah.
followers and stuff. Basically, it's not just how many views. Views are important though.
Somebody.
You what the formula what I read was you want to have half the amount of likes as you have of views.
That's
So even if
hard.
you only
That's
have
really
50
hard.
views, if 25 of those are likes, then that's not so bad.
Nice.
But then you also have to have 10% of comments of what your likes are. So
Wow.
say the formula would be 50 views, 25 likes, and 12 comments. That's like what the formula is. Now, of course, you
Yeah.
want a lot more of all of that, but I'm just saying if you start out and most of the people who view it actually, or at least half of them liked it, then that's pretty good.
You should have a
What you
call to action though to get more, was this useful? Was this helpful? What are some of the call to actions that you put on
Well, you know
yours?
what? That's true. I've seen those do well. To be honest, I haven't had that. Like I haven't done a lot of the call to action ones. But I've seen other people do it and they did get a good response. Like for instance, like some people do stuff like today's challenges, and they'll do something with their dog. Okay, now you go. You turn, tag me,
Post it in a
tag me in
comment.
your
Yeah.
video, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can get some definitely can get some engagement and get people tagging. I would say if you're gonna do that, keep it very simple because the vast majority of people can't do a whole lot with their
They're
dog.
not going to export a video, put it onto your thing and all of that. So when you're
Right.
asking
No, and
something,
most people don't want to do that anyway. Most people are
yeah.
just perusing through
Yeah.
while we're with their
I
phone.
think your
They're just
content,
scrolling.
Lori, I think why you get a lot of likes is because you're comical and you're
Try
just
to
giving
be.
some information. I can't help when I see your face. I automatically like it. Like 3 seconds, I'm like, that's just brilliant. Come on now. And then I watch the rest of it where other people I'm having to really watch and see what they're actually going to post about. So I think sometimes if you really put yourself out there and just ham it up, not always. I know it's not easy, totally not easy. Some people are natural like Lori, and some people are going to go through the struggle.
Well, let me say this. The reason why I brought up of when I was an aerobics instructor, people used to have to sign up for my class. Like they couldn't just show up at the gym and expect to get a bike in my spinning class. They had to be there early, put their name on the list. You have to draw people in, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, whether it's teaching aerobics, whether it's teaching physics, whether it's being a dog trainer.
Yeah.
People are not You have to make it worth their
You got
while.
to stand out a little bit.
You do, and you have to make
Yeah.
it worth their while, so they have to like you or hate you. I think if
Let's
they hate
not
you,
go there.
that
Let's
is a
not go
way,
there.
but
Yeah.
that is not the way that I would want to
Yeah.
represent myself. But like, if people genuinely like you, because that's why I said, that's why I think a lot of balance trainers do follow me. They like me. They might necessarily, they might
Not
not
agree.
necessarily love everything that I say.
Yeah.
Now I will say, when I first got on TikTok, I spoke against e-collars and stuff very,
I
very
saw
much.
some of those
I
videos.
did do that a lot, and then I toned that down.
Mm,
I toned it down because that's not who I want to be. I don't want to
yeah.
be that person who's screaming about e-collars. I would rather be the person who's screaming about positive reinforcement and how great it is.
So
So
interesting. You can go either way.
you can go either way,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you, I don't think you're going to be successful as the person who is just every other post is
Yeah.
talking about the evils of e-collars,
I
because
yeah.
the thing when you do that, the people who use them, they're going to take it personally. How can they
Yeah.
not? You're
Yeah.
basically calling them an abuser.
Yeah.
You're calling the woman um, who is at her wit's end with her dog, and she got taken in by one of those e-collar franchises who promised her that they were going
Guaranteed.
to make her and her dog's life. So she succumbed to it, as
Yeah.
many people do.
Yeah.
And if you're the one saying it's evil and da da da, and she looks at that, scroll, because she doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
That's not going to ever reach her.
So, Lori,
Never.
here's a great question for you. How do
Yeah.
you go about sending a message to that woman who hired a trainer that did put on a collar on her dog without actually bashing that method or trainer?
Well,
Because
like I
this is a
said,
creative. Now, you're really creative, Lori, because
well,
sometimes the message is just like wooed in there. So, what?
well,
How would that video look?
here's how you do it, or this is how I do it.
Yeah.
Rather than say, "Oh my God, e-collars are this and that and horrible and evil and da da da," and you're dumb if you use it, and people who say they're good. No, what I do is I say, you can do this. This will work instead of that. Like, so I will still mention it. I'll say, you don't have to use leash pressure. You don't have to use corrections. You can get here. More of like encouraging people and cheering them on, like, let's go, let's do this. So that it's a whole different approach.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't want to wait. Like, I do try to get something on there every day. It's not always a like a video that I made and edited and all that. Sometimes it's just me talking, or sometimes it's just me responding to a comment or question. So I do try to have a daily present, but I don't have the time to be making videos and responding to people I don't like and methods I don't like. That's a waste of my time for me. I don't have that much time to do it. Now, maybe if I had all day long to sit and make videos, maybe, but no, I still probably wouldn't. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I use my time to make sure I get the message out there and represent the person that I want to be. I want people to come along with what I do because they are intrigued and they want to try it, and I haven't made them feel bad. I want to make people feel good, and I want to be encouraging to people. So because I do get people, I get every at least every other week, I get people who had trained with we have a very, very, very popular e-collar franchise company in my area.
Hmm.
They are kicking butt. They are like advertise everywhere and get tons of people. Well, I get former clients of theirs every other week that went to them and then finally start understanding what they were doing.
What they could be
Because
doing. Yeah.
sometimes it takes people a little while.
Yeah.
When they because when the dog comes home, they're like, well, the dog gets better all of a sudden. And they're given that thing. And they're like, well, maybe it's not so bad. And then the dog starts, because they haven't really changed anything or learned really how to train or any of that, then they have to start turning up the collar, which is what they're told when they call and say, well, He's not really listening anymore. What should I do? Crank it up. When they start hearing that, it finally starts to click what they are doing,
Yeah.
and they don't want to do it. Because most of the people, I will say, well, yeah, most of the people, I have no problem going on record to say that most of the people, regular dog owners, everyday dog owners who end up going to the e-collar franchises, have no idea what they're really doing and have no idea what the e-collar is. I will say it's a brilliant move on the shock
Franchise.
collar users
Yeah.
part to
The
change the
marketing.
name. Well, they
Yeah.
changed the name because when I first started training, they were shock collars. They've been shock collars up until I want to say maybe the
Now they call them e-collars, which
yeah,
is the
they
same thing
start
the
calling
vet
them.
calls when they're sending a dog that's been neutered. We're going to send them home with an e-collar.
Oh yeah, that's what e-collars were back in the day.
Yeah.
And then like I said, I don't exactly remember exactly when they started, but I want to say maybe around the 2010s and stuff is when they started calling them e-collars. And I'm like, wait, what? An Elizabethan collar? What are you talking about? No, e-collar, the electronic collar. I'm like, you mean a shot collar? Like
Yeah.
they changed the name. They changed the name, and that kind of changed
The
the
great
game too.
marketing. It was
Yeah,
great marketing.
they're better marketers. So they're better marketers than we are. I hate to say it. That's what they are.
Yeah. So
Um,
here's the thing, guys. If you're a trainer and you are wanting to bring awareness in our industry, then you got to put yourself out there. Got to put yourself out there. And that might mean it might be uncomfortable. It might feel silly. It might feel like super scary. But I would love to challenge all of you to start going live on your page. And Laurie, do you prep for this? Do you like go, okay, I'm going to go live at 2:00 and I got to go do my hair and put on an outfit and all of
no,
that?
I
Or you
should. I
just,
really should. I really should. No, not
you just put it
usually.
out there?
I usually have a topic,
Yeah.
but it's hard to stick to topic because people start asking you questions off topic, and what are you going to do? So
Nice.
but I do try to put a topic on that will draw people in. I go live on TikTok more than I do on Instagram. Even though TikTok is toxic and all that, I'm actually more popular on TikTok than I am on Instagram. Instagram's really hard
It's
to
hard.
grow. I found it's hard to grow on. I do get a lot of views on my videos and stuff, but that's a harder nut to crack. The TikTok, because and I like I said, I think it's because it's so easy to make the videos, or now it's easy to make the videos on TikTok, and they have so many trends that you can just jump on the trend. Like you can make like a 10-second video with the trend. Whereas with Instagram, it's a little bit harder. And so that's been a little bit harder nut to crack for me. But I go live on that much more often than I do
TikTok.
on Instagram. So
I saw Suzanne Garrett on TikTok. I'm like, what the actual, like, what is going on in the industry?
yeah,
Hello. And she's good.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, she must have someone just working full time in the background, just,
Probably does.
yeah.
Probably does.
But guys, thank you so much for your time,
Sure.
Laurie. This has been amazing getting to know you. And I love that you want to put diversity in our industry. And I'm so proud to have someone like you putting yourself out there and just letting it all out, because we do need more people out there on our social media sharing and posting.
Yes.
And yeah, so I'm going to be hitting you up because I just want to pick your brain because you're so amazing and funny. And you and I have similar backgrounds. I wonder, what gym did you work for?
Well, I worked for a lot of them. Well, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. So I worked for Gold's for momentarily. I worked
Okay.
for Gold's Gym. There was a set of gyms back in the 90s called Sport and Health Clubs. I worked for them. And then there was Washington Sports Club. So between the three of those. And then I worked for little small studios too, like,
That's
just
awesome.
little small studios and dance studios and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's
No,
me.
thank you so much for your
You're
time, for
welcome.
your
It's
energy.
fun.
You were amazing. And everybody, we're going to be sharing her TikTok handle and her Instagram. Everybody, I want to make sure you do follow her. And we're going to watch your lives over the next few days and hopefully get some motivation and drive to everyone go out there and post themselves. But yeah, thank you so much. Here's a bunch of thank yous from all over. And we'll end this broadcast. And guys, if you're watching this a little bit later, send Laurie some love. She is in this group and she will comment or like your page. But you guys follow her handle on TikTok.
Yeah, you guys follow.
What is it called? Canine? I'm going to post it really quick.
The THE, the Canine, all spelled out, CANINE, Canine Diva, the Canine Diva.
All right, let me here we go. Let me put that up there. There it is, the Canine Diva.
And it's the same on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, follow her, guys. You are going to love her post and give her some love. Comment. You heard her. She's going to be sharing and responding on her page, which is awesome. I know that's always hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Laurie,
You're welcome.
much.
It was fun.
I know you're busy, and I really appreciate you just jumping in here with us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me and having me.
You're welcome.
Take care.
See you soon.
All right,
bye.
bye-bye.